foam back there. I will need that for my timer. And then I'm going to rinse the nectarines real quick. The good news about the difference between nectarines and peaches is peaches you cut like a cut on the bottom, and you have to dunk them in boiling water for like 30 to 60 seconds depending on how ripe they are, and peel the skins off. Don't have to do that with nectarines. Happy dance. Too hot today, not even going to wear an apron today. It's like 92 outside right now, so it's like, oh, good heavens to Murgatroyd. So let's put one of my old drying towels over here so I can rinse this real quick. So these have already been washed. I just want to make sure I rinse them because I haven't used these in a bit. Also checking the seals, making sure that all of the sealing compound is smooth and there's no scratches, because sometimes, damage happens during shipping. If a box gets dropped, or heaven forbid a box or a jar breaks during shipping, it can cut the compound, and we don't want that. Making sure there's no dents, no creases. All right, so those are going to be fine. Let's move these over here. That's just the way I can grab those when we're time to grab them, and I can start rinsing off some of these. Nectarines. Hello, Lori. So I'm curious if you guys hear that sound, the cheering sound. Do you guys hear the cheering sound? Like a crowd cheering? I don't know if that's working either. So you guys are all guinea pigs today. Culinary Rewind, hello, and thank you for letting me know about that. Yes, I'm sitting here sweating like a stuck pig roasting on an open fire. Okay, so somebody, I can't tell you, I got to go back to the sound. I cannot tell, it was exactly 3 months, 2 days that I have been trying to figure out how to get sound into my stream. Repotting my basil, wafting and wafting. I froze? Did my camera freeze or froze? No apron today, it's too hot. It's like 90 some odd. Oh, okay. Oh, it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do if that happened. I don't even know how to refresh the thing for the cameras. We should still have our cutting camera here and then this one here. Okay. Phew. So somebody had talked about, it was in Chef John Reed's stream, about it being so hot, and I think they mentioned you, Cerise, when she's replanting her basil. But somebody had said about putting ice cubes down the shirt into the bra, to keep you cool. And my thought is, wow, do they have like one of those gel pack bras that you can store in the freezer? Oh my gosh. Okay, so now Pretzel Rocks is showing the music in there playing. Oh my gosh, I will tell you what, that was an absolute struggle. But that's okay. We got it done. She's like, keep plopping them down in there. Just keep plopping them down in there. We are, Madam Rainbow Pants. Hello. Yes, we are canning nectarines today. So I went and picked 26 pounds yesterday. So as you can see, we have 3 big trays of nectarines over there. A lot of people think 26 pounds is a lot. I think they envision a lot more nectarines than it really is. So I think when people envision 26 pounds of nectarines, they probably envision like 2 or 3 of these 5-gallon buckets. And it's not. It was, well, you can see how many is actually there. It's not like a lot of uber noob. How are you? Malin is in the house. I came over with a raid for Kathy yesterday. Who was it that raided yesterday? Oh, Pantry Elf came over and raided you guys yesterday. And then I was back at the computer because we've been struggling trying to get the sounds in the computer. So it's like, oh, I know. Everybody knows Malin of the AFK Kitchen. Kathy and Malin of AFK Kitchen. We can get a shout out. Oh wait, do I have that on my thing here?
Oh, did you see
Uber
that?
noob. Thank you so much for that resub. Oh my gosh. I'm still figuring out because I'm testing the Stream Deck. So I'm borrowing a Stream Deck and I'm testing the Stream Deck. Oh, Cerise, can you give a shout out for AFK Kitchen too, please? That would be amazing. Thank you. So AFK Kitchen, you know, the tenacity and the fortitude, amazing. It's like their bar is like up here. My bar is about knee high, very low goals. Their bar is like way up here. And, you know, they do all these cookie streams and they just have so much fun. They just have, you cannot help but have fun when you're in their stream. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing. But they stream later at night. So they're also on Pacific Daylight Time. So we're both in the Pacific Northwest. And usually they start streaming. Well, you guys have actually started streaming a little bit earlier, I've noticed. You guys have been starting to stream like around 8:30. It used to be they started like around 9:30. And so they were like the late night crowd. Stream decks are great. It takes some time. Yeah, so I'm playing around with a couple of the different things on here. Like one of the buttons I notice isn't working, so I'll get that worked out. My shout buttons, I may send you a PM on Twitch because I have a question that I cannot find an answer for on the interweb. And maybe you have an answer for it. Do it. It's on the shout outs. And I've got them and they work. But when I push a button, I only have like 5 set up right now because it's like, you know what, don't set them all up right now because if they don't work, you're gonna have to redo them all. So just set up like 4 or 5, like 4, actually I have 4 to test. And when I push the button to say, oh, let's do a shout out, it doesn't do the shout out on the screen. It gives me another screen. Oh, can I do this? Yeah, let's do this. I get this screen after I press shout out. I'm not good at holding it. But here's the weird thing. If I push any of these buttons, doesn't matter what button I push, I don't even know what these buttons do. They just showed up when I went live. But if I push one of these buttons, the shout out goes through. So here, I'm gonna push this one that says 17 Hector 773, but it still does the shout out. Yeah, but why is the shout out acting as a subfolder? Oh man, this is gonna be really warm today. I have 2 giant water baths right here, both filled with water that's cooking out. But anyway, at least the shout outs work and I can at least do them. So I don't know what it does. It doesn't do it when it's offline. I mean, if I'm not streaming, it only does it if I'm streaming. If I test it when I'm offline, if I test it when I'm offline, I click the shout out, then it goes to the next screen and it shows me 2 buttons. One says Stream Elements. Okay, I get that because I'm using Stream Elements. And the other one's a weird pink little dude that going like this on all of them. But when I do that here, like if I do, I didn't mean to do that, sorry. Yeah, there's like, this one has all like, oh, wait a minute. I think I just figured it out. This is interesting. I just figured it out. So everybody who is on this list of those buttons that I just showed you as a subfolder are all the people who are in stream right now. So I could have shouted them out by just oh, that would make it faster. Huh, new things to play with after stream. Okay. Well, that was fun. Technology win, Kenara fail. So there we go. So we're gonna start, I'm gonna rinse these real quick. We're gonna get started on these. We're going to start with probably our peach pie filling. I need some cinnamon. No vanilla. I will use a little bit of nutmeg. And I will use, there it is. There's my cinnamon. I will use some whole nutmeg. I like nutmeg. Not a lot of nutmeg. I like more nutmeg in my apple pies than I like in my peach pies. But you know, just a hint of, as my mother says, flavor is good enough for me. Oh wait, we're gonna need our measuring cups because we're measuring out a lot of sugar today. All right. So canning peaches, nectarines, right? Potatoes, tomatoes, peaches, nectarines. There we go. I love nectarines. That's one fruit I will enjoy in the summertime. But I don't eat like a massive amount of them. I think I've eaten 2. Oh, it's just got a sunburn on it. I think I've just eaten 2. So what we're looking for in our food, we're going to do this one, we're going to do this one, and let's do this one. These are our examples. That one's also got a bruise on it. So we don't want to use bruised fruit. So if you have bruised fruit, throw it into a smoothie. Throw it in the freezer, throw it into a smoothie. So this is what's known as sunburn. This is a rough patch that's going to actually be on the. This can happen to peaches. This can happen to apples. This can happen to any fruit that grows on trees. You can get a little sunburn spot, which means it probably split a little bit there, and then with the sun beating on it, it creates basically a scab to protect the fruit on the inside. So even though it's a blemish, I can take a peeler and just cut that portion off and not have to worry about that. The other thing we're looking for is broken skin. So anytime we have broken skin like this, particularly because these nectarines have not been washed yet, but they are going into a boiling water bath for 30 minutes. I'm not worried so much about bacteria at this point, but what I am worried about is dirt, detritus, and if in the event, insect eggs, because you'll see insects flying around out there all the time. The other thing you want to look for is bruising. So you can see, there we go. You can see that this one here has some bruising on it. So we will be cutting that little section out. We don't want to use actually any bruised fruit when we do it. Hungry wolf, hello. Could probably put a grill pan on the stoop and grill stuff. So here's what I'm thinking. If I have time, and I'm going to get started on the pie filling first, and I'm going to omit a stage in my pie filling. I will explain why. Helps with part of the process and for something later on. But I'm going to get the pie filling made, and then as the pie filling timer's going on that one, we're going to start processing the peaches. You guys said peaches, now I'm stuck on peaches. We're going to start processing the nectarines. I'm going to do a fresh pack on nectarines. Now nectarines I do them in slices. I am going to do what's called a raw pack. We're going to discuss that. And I'm doing them in pints, not quarts, because it's just the 2 of us. 1 pint is plenty for the both of us for a meal, whether it's a side dish with dinner, and I'm pointing at the dining room table that we don't even use as a dinner table. Breakfast, he likes it with cottage cheese and stuff like that. So, Carol Mex, how are you? Happy Wednesday. Boop, boop, ba-doop, boop, boop. So it's really funny. Now I need to find a musical cowbell and an engineer. And I want to hang a cowbell somewhere in here that has a little cable that comes down, that comes across, it goes to a foot pedal, like for a bass drum. Ooh, I bet I could talk to Yogomi about that. With a bass drum, and I can hit it, and it would tap the cowbell. So it's over there, not me doing it here in front of the mic where it would like blow out your eardrums. We need the cowbell. And, well, I'm not a granny. I mean, I know I have gray hair. Don't be presumptuous. Don't be presumptuous. Not everybody who's of the older persuasion is an actual granny. DJ Skiz, hello. How are you? We don't need this quite yet. We will get that going. So all of our sauces that we're going to be adding. So when you pack your nectarines, peaches, plums, pears, apples, whatever you're packing, that's just going to be eaten as a fruit later on or put into dishes or whatever. You need to acidify your fruit. This is not for food safety. This is for retaining the color and the flavor of the fruit. So I'm going to be doing not acidulated water. We're going to be using ascorbic acid. Now, ascorbic acid you can buy in a powder form, and I believe it's the ascorbic acid. I want to make sure I got my measurements right for you. So it's 1 teaspoon to 1 gallon of water of ascorbic acid, which is just pure ascorbic acid. Ball sells in these little tiny jars. You can also use baby aspirin. The little orange pellets, they need to be 500 milligrams each. So of the baby aspirins, they're just pure vitamin C tablet, not baby aspirin, vitamin C tablets. They look the same for the kids. They're the little orange chewables. Don't use baby aspirin. Use vitamin C tablets. Make sure they're 500 milligrams each. 6 tablets, crush them up real good, like between 2 spoons, again to a gallon of water. Or you can use bottled lemon juice, which is at a 5% acidity, and this is going to be 3/4 of a cup to a gallon of water. So I'm going to get that prepped here as I slice my peaches They're going to go in here and they're going to sit. You want them to sit for about a minute to upwards of 5 minutes. And that is going to kind of soak in and retain your color. Very important for doing things like pears and apples. Now on peaches and nectarines, huge important safety tip. You only do the orange flesh. We do not can or process white peaches or white nectarines. Their pH is too high, making their acidity level too low. So they're not safe for canning. Oh, Malin.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
Oh my gosh. I want to check my blood to make sure that everything's good. It's still working. But good. That's great news. Ting, 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 ting. If you guys have not seen that SNL skit with Will Ferrell, it's the actors portraying a Blue Oyster Cult. And Christopher Walken is the producer. Oh my gosh, it is just absolutely funny. Yeah, I do. I need to get like a ting, ting. So I have to buy probably like a cowbell as an instrument, not like a real cowbell. That's what I'm preserving. Well, no, I'm preserving nectarines, but that's what I'm presuming. So let's do this over here. So on the peach pie filling, like I said, you can use peaches, you can use nectarines, so we're going to use nectarines. The one ingredient that I am leaving out of my pie filling is clear gel. Now remember, to thicken things for the purpose of canning, you cannot use rice, you cannot use cornstarch, you cannot use potato starch, you cannot use arrowroot powder. You can only use modified cornstarch that is called clear gel. Most bulk grocery stores or bulk stores like Winco, Cash and Carry will carry clear gel. This clear gel has been modified to react with the sugars, to act as a preserving, as a thickener, and not break down with heat. Because heat's going to be the biggest thing, because we're bringing these up to 212 degrees. Cornstarch and all those can break down, so we don't want to actually have anything break down. My new basil has a home. The roots were a little compacted. Well, that's okay. It just makes him appreciate being able to spread his fingers out a little bit more. Guitar Center music stores should have them for pretty cheap. Okay, well, my closest Guitar Center, again, 80 miles north. But doesn't mean I can't get on their site. X-Master, hello, how are you today? Lovely to see you. Happy Wednesday. I hope it's not as brutally hot for you as it is for me. Let me start giving these a quick rinse and a wash. And then we are going to get to plating. So just so you guys know, in my sink over here, I have all my mason jars that have been washed and cleaned. They are now sitting in a sink of super hot water, filled with hot water, and they're just gonna sit there until I'm ready to use them. I do keep a 5-gallon bucket next to my sink, so when I'm bringing those over to fill, I dump the water into the buckets, and then I wait for that to cool, and then tonight I will take that bucket and I'll just go out and water my plants with that. Don't waste water. Don't waste water. For a drumstick, can I just use a wooden spoon? Come on, it's a cooking stream. Wooden spoon, wooden spoon. Canning season has started. I'm so excited. Yeah, it's hot here. In Oregon right now, I'm like in the 90s. And 90 here, oh, jeez. Yeah, but I do have to move that fan, because that fan's blowing in the wrong direction, because I was sitting over there. So hopefully this won't be too loud in the... Oh, I lied, it's not 90, it's 96. Trying to cover the mic up so the fan doesn't blow in it. Blowing. All right, let's get these washed real quick in some cool water. All I'm doing is just basically washing the dust off of these. I'm not scrubbing these down. But let me tell you, having these in the car for the ride home, and then, you know, I could just dip them in this water here. That wouldn't hurt them. My car smelled so good. So not all peaches and not all nectarines are the same. I forgot to ask them what breed this was. He's just gonna keep filling up my sink with more and more water. Glad I left some room. Some peaches, the peaches you want to do if you're going to be canning in halves, or if you're going to be canning in slices, is cling-free peaches. And what that means is when you cut them in half, they will easily pull away from the pit, the stone. That's why these are called stone fruit, because they consider that little thing on the inside a stone. I did have the most unusual question that came over on the hotline. I think I told you guys this. The guy who was canning, like 100 jars of peaches and wanted to know how does he process the pits, because he felt bad for wasting them. And I was like, no, you don't do that. Silent Kills, nice breezy. 103 here in West Texas. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness gracious. I have family that lives in San Antonio and family that lives in Corpus Christi. So they get the heat, probably not quite as hot as you are, Silent, but they got that humidity.